If I told you the best hitters in baseball aren't trying to lift the ball, rather match the plane of the pitch and hit it as hard as possible, would you believe me? I'm Nick the Hitting Doc, and today I'm going to talk about pitch angle, attack angle, launch angle, and exit velocity, and how tiny adjustments at the plate can make huge differences in results, and how you as a hitter can statistically dominate and it won't even be close. Okay, so most of us by now, we're familiar with exit velocity and launch angle. It's all over the MLB. Statcast has kind of taken over, and that's pretty much the primary metric now that we see on TV. And there's some good reason for this. One is exit velocity and launch angle. Both of those can predict with very high accuracy how successful a hitter is going to be. Okay, basically, hitting hardline drives is the key, and we'll jump into why. But first, let's talk about exit velocity. Pretty straightforward. Just how hard does the ball jump off of the bat? Okay, so the bigger, faster, stronger we get as hitters, the harder we can hit the ball. Bat choice also matters, and that's why channels like Baseball Bat Bros have really taken off, is because try to find the hottest bat that can generate the highest exit velocities, so it makes sense. Another thing to think about is the harder a pitcher throws, the harder of an exit velocity you can get as a hitter. It's like if I was to throw a ball at the wall and I threw kind of soft and it just kind of bounced back a little bit, but then I really rear back on the next throw and it really comes bouncing back. Okay, so that's exit velocity. And launch angle is the angle between basically the flat horizontal or the ground and where the ball jumps off after contact. Okay, so looking at this chart I made, we have launch angle on the left side, and then we have exit velocity at the top. And the numbers within the table are WOBA, or weighted on base average values. And WOBA is basically kind of considered the top metric for offensive production right now. Okay, there's some interesting things on here. Okay, so at the top we have exit velocity in 5 mile an hour increments. On the left, launch angle in 5 degree increments. And what you'll notice is when exit velocity is low, so 65 to 70, and launch angle is low, those are almost always outs. Notice that once we start hitting launch angles 20 to 35, somewhere in there, we start seeing more success, okay? And those are mostly like bloop singles, kind of bounce on the foul line. They roll out toward, foul territory, and they're hard to field. So those are kind of miss hits, okay? But then once we start getting up there, 70, 75, 75, 80, and going up, you'll notice that WOBA band kind of straightens out, okay? So our hot red band is really right in there between 10 to 20, looking at 80 to 85 exit velo, 85, 90, okay? So most hitters say in high school, they can hit, 80, 85 miles an hour. Getting up to 90 plus, that's kind of more the power hitters. And MLB players, they're trying to shoot for 95 plus, okay? So notice that 80 to 90 miles an hour, that WOBA band really gets red hot at more of the lower launch angles, okay? So we're looking at 10 to 20 degrees launch angle. So these are going to be, line drives over the infield that land in the outfield and might turn into a double or a triple. Okay? In training in general, we want to keep our launch angles on a line drive, okay? And then notice, once we get to 90, 95, 100 miles an hour exit velocity, it opens up everything, okay? So once we can hit the ball really hard, our WOBA, or offensive production, goes through the roof. It doesn't really matter as much what angle our launch angle is, okay? Let's talk about pitch angle and attack angle and how those can contribute to launch angle, okay? So I have an image here out of my book. This is adapted from Ted Williams. I believe The Science of Hitting. I think he has an image like this in there. I haven't read it myself. But I adapted this from that image, so shout out Ted. This is showing the pitch angle and attack angle of the bat. Okay. So key in on this top image here. You can see that the baseball is coming down, pitcher's up on the mound, kind of throwing downward. So that's the pitch angle. The attack angle is the angle that the bat comes upward, okay, or flat or downward. So that is the attack angle. So notice on this top image that the attack angle of the bat matches the pitch angle pretty well, okay? So they line up, and you can see that that blue filling inside of there, that is kind of the contact window. That's the bat matching the angle of the pitch, and the longer it matches, the higher the likelihood of a solid contact or a good barrel, okay? And then contrast that with the bottom image. That's showing the same pitch angle, and this is like a flat attack angle, maybe even a little negative, okay, chopping down toward the ball. So you can see how there's so much smaller of a contact window. The bat just doesn't match up with the pitch. And you can also see that the blue filling is kind of a diamond shape, okay? It's not a nice, smooth, filled-in match, okay? So that is going to affect how likely as a hitter you are to barrel up the ball well. This doesn't actually affect launch angle as much as we think, though, and I'll explain why. So we've talked about matching pitch angle with attack angle. That's going to give us the biggest contact window to help barrel up the ball. Let's talk about now what determines topspin, backspin, and launch angle more than anything, okay? This is showing pretty much the same thing. You can see that the pitch angle and attack angle are matching. The difference is, notice that they're offset by just a bit, okay? So the topmost picture, we can see the bat is beneath the ball, okay? So it's swinging below the center of contact is where the bat is meeting the ball. That's giving us those high launch angles with backspin, okay? And then the middle image, this is perfectly in line. Both angles are matching. That's going to give us that launch angle 0 to 15, okay? So whatever our attack angle, if it perfectly matches the pitch angle, that's how the ball is going to come off. That's what gives that knuckle movement in the outfield sometimes you see, and that's going to give us the best statistics for a wide range of exit velocities that we've talked about. And then the bottom image, this is the bat hitting just above the ball. That's going to give us our weak ground balls or our topspin, okay? So even if we hit the center of the ball or just slightly above, you can generate some topspin, okay, even if it's a line drive. So when we're training or we're in the cages, the most important thing for hitting hard line drives is focusing on what our launch angle actually is and trying to hit the center or just below the ball. What actually determines our attack angle? Okay, we talked about how launch angle is mostly those fine adjustments beneath the ball, in line, or above the ball. But having a good attack angle that's consistent is going to be key for barreling up more baseballs, okay? So how do we adjust that? Well, let's look at this picture of Shohei here. This is also out of my book. I want you to pay attention to that pink line going up through his spine. Notice that the ring around his shoulders is 90 degrees or perpendicular. Our side bending is actually what determines our attack angle more than anything, okay? So if we're very straight up and down, our attack angle is going to be flat. If we are on our back leg, kind of side bending backwards, our attack angle is going to be a little steeper, okay? So sometimes what I'll see with young players is they'll lean back a little too much and they're just really steep with the ball. They're swinging up toward the sky. A lot of their balls have a lot of top spin, or they're just having more strikeouts, weak flyouts, weak contact, okay? And a lot of that is just due to the side bending, okay? So some ways to fix it. First off, I really like high T. Just set up a T really high. I like going at the nipple line about, and then just challenge players to hit line drives off of that tee. Okay, it's gonna actually, you would think that they'll want to do this to try and hit that high tee, but actually to hit a line drive, you have to be a little bit straighter up and down, a little more neutral. Okay. Another option you can try is having him literally hit balls straight into the ground. Okay, off a tee or front toss, you just try to get on top of the ball and swing downwards, and sometimes by overemphasizing the wrong thing or the opposite, sometimes it straightens them out. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. We talked about pitch angle, attack angle, launch angle, all the angles, lots of geometry, lots of stuff to cover. I hope it's helpful. And if you want a deeper dive, check out my book, The Baseball Hitting Guidebook, on Amazon. It covers more detail about this and it goes into a lot more things with vision, contact, and it's got a 30-day training plan with tons of drills and things for you to start off the season. I also have a free PDF if you're into that. And let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want me to cover or to further explore. And anyway, until next time.